Hello and welcome back. Today I'll be covering all the achievements that you can unlock in Stalker Anomaly. This guide applies to all mod packs on top of Anomaly, including EFP and Gamma. Usually, achievements are nothing but a background task for only those who really want to 100% a game. But in Stalker, completing achievements will actually reward you with some good perks. Some of these are worth going for as it can have a significant impact on your playthrough. First up is the Absolver achievement. This can be acquired by completing the Mortal Sin questline. This questline is started after completing the Living Legend questline, which is the first questline. Completing this questline will unlock the Sin faction to play as in the new game menu. However, the Sin faction can also be unlocked by typing GREH into the new game menu. Artificer Eagerness requires you to craft items 50 times in the crafting tab on the workbench. The reward for doing this is a decrease in the amount of components used in some crafts. Most crafts are affected by this, but some are unchanged. The ones which are changed will typically only require one less of each component in order to craft. This can be quite useful if you are crafting a lot, as it will require you to gather less components. Similar to the first achievement is Collaborator, except this achievement requires you to complete the Operation Afterglow questline. Doing this will unlock the UNISG faction to start as. However, once again, this faction can just be unlocked by typing ISG into the new game screen. The Completionist achievement, like the name suggests, requires you to complete every other achievement. I should note now that for every other achievement when completed, it would grant you 250 rank points. These points are found in the Stats tab and dictate your Stalker's ranking. However, for Completionists, the reward is 500 rank points. Honestly, this is quite a disappointing reward for completing every achievement in the game, considering how hard or near impossible some are. Speaking of, next is Down to Earth. This requires you to shoot down 3 helicopters with guns or to shoot one down with an RPG. The reason why this is near impossible is in some mod packs such as Gamma, helicopters are disabled. This is probably for the better though, as it can be annoying being gunned down by a helicopter when you only have a Makarov. The Duga 3 achievement is awarded once you turn off both the Miracle Machine and the Brain Scorcher. See this video on how to do that. Once done, loners and other factions will patrol through Yantarn radar, making them slightly safer. The Geologist achievement is more than achievable. This one requires you to detect 50 artifacts. This means making them appear when near them with a detector and picking them up, not just seeing them on your detector. This can be easily done on a playthrough, especially in mod packs like Gamma, which heavily rely on hunting artifacts to progress. Completing this will increase the future odds of artifacts respawning when a mission happens. Heavy Pockets is a simple achievement in that it only requires you to have 10 million rubles on you at one time. I say simple, but this can be a long grind depending on how easy it is to earn money on your install of Anomaly. I personally have never had more than 200,000 rubles at a time, which is nowhere near the 10 million needed. However, this achievement has one of the best rewards. It maxes out all general trader levels to 5, but you'll probably already have max level with most traders by the time you have 10 million rubles. Next is Infantile Pleasure. This requires you to break over 200 metal or wooden boxes. These boxes can be found all over the zone, so finding 200 of them is not too hard. By doing this, all future boxes you will break will have a 25% more chance of items being in the box. Infopreneur is completed by handing over 50 PDAs. These are PDAs that are found on dead stalkers. Make sure that before you hand them in, you check these PDAs for stash locations and remove the batteries from them. After handing in the 50th PDA, the next PDAs will earn you more money. Infamously, one of the hardest achievements to get is the Invictus achievement. This requires you to complete the Living Legend, Mortal Sin and Operation Afterglow questlines, all while playing in the hardest gameplay and progression difficulty. And to make it even harder, you only have 2 lives. If you die twice, you have to start it all over again. Quick tip if you're doing an Invictus run: don't launch the game in debug mode, as if you open the save file, it will invalidate the run. As a reward, you get a permanent 100% increase to your coolness rating. If you are playing in Warfare mode, then the Iron Curtain achievement will apply to you. This requires you to capture half of all the territories in the zone. As a reward, you'll receive a sum of rubles. Mechanised Warfare completes when you hand all of the toolkits, basic, advanced and expert tools, to a mechanic trader. This is another achievement with a useful reward of increasing the repair of bonus items by 2. Getting all tools, especially expert tools, can be quite tricky, but the reward definitely makes it worth doing. If Invictus is a bit too much for you, then the Murky Spirit achievement is slightly easier. You still have to complete all 3 storylines in 1 or less death, but you are free to do it on any difficulty or progression difficulty. Again, there's no reward for completing this. Another fairly useful achievement to complete is the Folk Hero achievement. This can be quite tricky however, as it requires you to be rank 1 in the stats tab, but when complete it will increase your companion limit to 4 from 2. Note that you are still able to get more than 2 companions before this achievement. The limit just means that no other stalkers will join your party if you exceed this number. Radiotherapy is another quest which you will just complete naturally. It requires you to survive 25 emissions and 25 side storms. The reward grants a small chance to survive an emission, but I definitely wouldn't rely on it to save you every time. Rag and Bone requires you to loot 100 stashes. For it to count, you need to take at least one item from the stash. The reward for this is a higher total cost of items in stashes, basically meaning better items. Vigilant Recycler requires you to disassemble 200 items. Doing so will give you a 33% chance to gain an extra item when disassembling. Silver or lead requires you to kill 500 stalkers or make 50 stalkers surrender. This can be done passively in a normal playthrough. Completing it will increase the chance of a surrendering stalker giving you a stash coordinate. Tourist will give you free stashes if you visit all locations in the zone, including underground areas. I have covered the disguise mechanic in this video, but Unforeseen Ghost requires you to stay for 50 real-life minutes around stalkers while disguised. Doing this will make your disguise harder to blow. Well dressed needs you killing 500 mutants or to skin 250 parts from mutants. The quest reward says it makes skinning mutants faster, but there is no animation in Vanilla Anomaly and the FDDA animation isn't sped up, so I don't know what the reward for this one does. The last achievement is Wishful Thinking. This is unlocked by completing the first main story quest, The Living Legend. Completing this will unlock the Renegade faction to play. But once again, the Renegade faction can just be unlocked by typing Renegade into the new game menu. So that was all the achievements that you can unlock in Stalker Anomaly. Hopefully I've shown you some which can be quite useful in your playthrough. If you have any other questions, feel free to come ask me when I'm live on Twitch. Link is in the description. Or drop a comment down below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.